Warrants sought to inspect Cambridge Analytica. Migrations will increase by 2050 due to climate change. China's ride-sharing giant Didi Chuxing is planning to hit Uber where it hurts. And by 2021, at least 40% of Latin America's GDP will be digitized. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business. I'm your host, Joseph Garza. Let's get on down to the information. The CEO of Cambridge Analytica, the political research company at the center of a massive Facebook data scandal, has been secretly filmed offering shadowy services to entrap politicians. The bombshell footage, broadcast Monday as part of an investigation by Channel 4 News, comes days after Facebook suspended Cambridge Analytica over an incident involving its harvesting of data from 50 million profiles. An undercover Channel 4 News reporter filmed the data firm's CEO, Alexander Nix, and his colleagues over 4 meetings from November to January. The journalist posed as a fixer for a wealthy client hoping to get candidates elected in Sri Lanka. In the footage, when asked what deep digging could be done, Mr. Nix told the undercover reporter, "Oh, we do a lot more than that." He suggested one way to target an individual was to offer them a deal that's too good to be true and make sure that it's video recorded. He also said he could send some girls around to the candidate's house, adding that Ukrainian girls are very beautiful, saying, "I find that works very well." Mr. Nix continued, "I'm just giving you examples of what can be done and what has been done." Offering bribes to public officials is an offense under both the UK's Bribery Act and the United States Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Cambridge Analytica operates in the UK and is registered in the United States. In other news, San Francisco firm Uber boasts a near monopoly in Mexico with 7 million users in more than 3 dozen cities. That is precisely why Didi wants to knock Uber from that comfortable perch. To learn how to conquer Uber, the Chinese firm is going straight to the source. It's poaching Uber employees for its Mexico management team. Didi employees are riding incognito with Uber drivers and chatting up passengers to pinpoint weaknesses, according to people familiar with its strategy. And Didi is thinking bigger than Uber with ambitions for bike sharing, scooters and motorcycles in Mexico, the people say. Didi Chuxing is the second biggest ride-sharing service in the world and has backing from a string of deep-pocketed venture capital funds. Uber learned the hard way about Didi's brawn. After waging an expensive campaign to crack the Chinese market, Uber in 2016 sold its operation to Didi in exchange for a 17.5% stake in the Chinese firm, which also made a $1 billion investment in Uber. Rather than compete solely on price, Didi plans to promote safe drivers and fast response times. The company has developed an algorithm to help it predict 15 minutes in advance where it should dispatch vehicles. Uber, meanwhile, has pushed Mexican lawmakers hard for the right to accept cash in a region where there are tens of millions of bank accounts. The move has generated business along with controversy. The company, which lost $4.5 billion last year, is facing fierce competition at home and in Asia and a regulatory crackdown in Europe. It is also recovering from a year of scandals that saw co-founder Travis Kalanick forced out as chief executive last June amid multiple federal criminal probes and a workplace marred by sexual harassment allegations. Moving on, more than 140 million people in Latin America, Africa, and Asia would need to move to other areas within their countries by 2050, escaping from climate change conditions, unless measures are taken to curb global warming and help the adaptation of people, reported the World Bank. The number of people forced to leave their homes globally due to water shortages, poor harvests, storms, rising sea levels, or other climate threats is likely to be much higher, researchers said in the WB study on Monday. But if global warming effectively stays within the limits set in the Paris Agreement and people are helped to adapt, then the number of migrants in the 3 regions will fall to some 40 million people, they added. Such preparation must include making economies less vulnerable to climate change, helping farmers adapt their farming techniques, and making the infrastructure of cities more resistant to storms, sea level rising, floods, and drought, the study said. Cities must also create jobs and boost health and education services to meet the needs of the growing number of people migrating to urban areas. In a worst-case scenario, more than 85 million people could leave their homes by 2050 in sub-Saharan Africa, 40 million in South Asia, and 17 million in Latin America, according to the report. In other news, IDC, the leading market intelligence firm, predicts that by the year 2021, at least 40% of Latin America's GDP will be digitized, with growth in each industry driven by offers, operations, and digitally enhanced relationships. According to the latest IDC study in Mexico with a view to 2018, they found that when the directors of systems or information technologies were questioned about their business priorities, their primary interest is still very much attached to the reduction of costs. Their secondary objective is to increase productivity, followed by improving business processes. Fourth, fifth, and sixth placed aims were those business activities linked to innovation, acquisition and retention of customers, improvement of products and services, and geographical expansion. Digital transformation is the approach by which companies drive changes in their business models and ecosystems, taking advantage of digital competencies. The last three responses of managers are related to innovation in production methods or the development of new products and services. From 2016 to 2017, the goal of acquiring and retaining customers grew from 18 to 32%, and the geographical expansion increased from 12 to 13%. Improvement of products and services grew from 26 to 28%. That is, the innovation mentality is evolving in an important way. Now, 70% of Mexican companies have reached levels 2 and 3 and are scouts or players in this. Of those companies that are opposed, 42% are considering starting the digital transformation process in a period of 2 to 3 years. And finally, let's take a look at the markets. The Mexican peso decreased 1.29% to 18.5248 from 18.7665 in the previous trading session. On the other hand, the IPC Mexico decreased 0.84% to 47,077 from 47,478 in the previous trading session. This was all for today. Thank you again for staying with us. I'm Joseph Garza. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and log on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.